and there is a warning now about this story. The video we're about to show you may be disturbing for some. Peel Police, though, do need help identifying a suspect involved in this hate-motivated assault investigation in Mississauga. It happened a month ago on July the 19th. That was a Saturday morning at 6 a.m. at the Tim Hortons at Lakeshore Road and Lakefront Promenade. An employee was confronted by an irate customer. The customer uttered racial and derogatory slurs, police say, and also spat on the employee before leaving. Fortunately, you could potentially see that was the spit right there. Fortunately, the victim suffered no lasting physical injuries, unclear about emotional or otherwise. The suspect is described as a male, white, with a heavy build, wearing a dark baseball cap and an orange or red shirt with writing that resembles the Coca-Cola brand logo. He left the area in a white four-door Ford commercial truck with a black dump chassis in the rear.
Parameters in the criminal code set out very clear direction, and there's an egregious add-on here, and it is that hate element. You can see by his behavior and what he was saying, this clearly has ulterior intentions that go beyond just the fact that he's having some sort of a bad day with this Tim Hortons employee.
Well, police are searching for a woman wanted for an attempted murder after an alleged stabbing near Queen and Bathurst earlier this month. 18-year-old Bruna Fernandez Martins is wanted on other charges as well, including assault with a weapon and failing to comply with conditions. Police say the victim was stabbed around 1 a.m. on Friday, August 8th, and a second person who intervened was also assaulted. Their injuries were non-life-threatening. Anyone with information is asked to contact police or Crime Stoppers.
A rally against gun violence will be happening this morning just outside of City Hall, honoring the memory of an 8-year-old boy whose life was cut short by gun violence.
Community members came together in North York last night to remember Jahvai Roy at the apartment building where he was killed Saturday. Roy was hit by a stray bullet while lying in bed next to his mother. Mayor Olivia Chow and Police Chief Myron Demkew were among those who attended the service, and Roy's mother also spoke to the crowd of mourners.
I'm trying so hard to hang on to the memory of that morning my son's life was taken and not the moments leading up to his death. It's undescribable pain, those last moments. But the memory of that morning before I went to work is what I'm gonna hold.
And today's rally at City Hall is set to begin at 10 a.m.
Yeah, devastated is good way to describe, Lena, just how this community is feeling regarding the loss of one of their own community members, just an 8-year-old boy who, as we've been reporting, was sleeping in his bed with his mom on the main floor of his apartment unit when a stray bullet entered his bedroom window and struck and killed him. So there's some irony here, and here's what I mean. A family friend stopped by to talk with me just a short time ago, and they showed me a picture. They showed me a picture that was on the screensaver of their phone, and it was Jahvai. He was in front and center of this picture. His mom was behind him. There's a big crowd behind them, and they were at Queen's Park. They were preparing for their walk, an anti-gun violence walk that they partake in all the time. Mom was an advocate in her community for safe streets, and she included her children in these walks. So it's so ironic to see this little boy so proud to be with his mom, with this banner behind them talking about the safe streets, and ironically, now he's lost his life as a result of illegal gunplay that took place a Saturday morning. So, yeah, to say that this community is devastated is really not giving it justice when it comes to just how sad they all are regarding what has transpired. This family friend that stopped by, they too are anti-gun advocates. And I spoke with Councillor Nunziata and to this family friend and got their thoughts on what has transpired, and I will speak to both clips on the other side. Let's listen to both.
You can't even be safe in your own home. This is disgusting. I'm so sick of it. I've been worried about it all week. It just breaks my heart that this can happen. And I mean, there's too many shootings in the city, and we have to put an end to it.
Honestly, the whole situation, it's really messed up. It sucks that gun violence is such a common thing in the city. I wish that, everybody could take the time to think before they do, because senseless acts of violence always end up with, families that are sad, families that lost their loved ones. Jahvai is not the only loved one I've lost to gun violence. I've lost a few. It's sad to say that, but it's become a norm. It's become a reality for a lot of people. It's become normal.
And with all that's happened, that statement that Mom released on Facebook just shows her resolve in continuing to be an advocate. And while all this goes on, the Chief Toronto Police, Chief Demke, had said after this occurred that he would commit every resource that the City of Toronto had when it comes to policing to investigate this matter. So that is being done around the clock as well, while the police actively identify the people responsible for this senseless tragedy. I'll send it back to you guys.
Just a gut-wrenching story. Steve Ryan reporting live from that community that is still grieving. Steve, thanks so much.
Yeah, the Premier and really anyone, especially those who have family in their home. This is very, unfortunately, not a unique situation in Lindsay, Ontario, just outside of Peterborough. So this happened actually at 3 in the morning on Monday in an apartment on Kent Street that follows through the main drag of downtown Lindsay. And for what I understand, a 41-year-old man who was wanted by police at the time broke into this apartment of a 44-year-old man. The 44-year-old woke up, and from what we understand, there was an altercation, and it seems that the intruder lost in this altercation. He sustained life-threatening injuries, but in the end, both men are facing charges. The homeowner is being charged with aggravated assault and assault with a weapon. The intruder is being charged with possession of a weapon for a dangerous purpose and breaking and entering. Now, this happened again 3 a.m. on Monday. People were talking about it yesterday. I really wanted to talk about this yesterday, but unfortunately, there was no visuals. We have no security camera footage at all of how this happened, or any of the details of what happened inside this apartment. It got all the way to Queen's Park, and this is what Premier Ford had to say about this ordeal.
So this criminal that's wanted by the police breaks into this guy's house. This guy gives him a beating, and this guy gets charged, and the other guy gets charged. But something is broken. I know if someone breaks into my house or someone else's, you're going to fight for your life. This guy has a weapon. You're going to use any force you possibly can to protect your family.
Yeah, Ford going off script a little bit. He was there to talk about the bail system in this province and then went on to talk about what happened in Kawartha Lakes. This is what the police chief had to say, quote, "The law requires that any defensive action be proportionate to the threat faced." Now, this means that while homeowners do have the right to protect themselves and their property, the use of force must be reasonable given the circumstances. Now, back to Premier Ford. If you remember, back in June, there was an attempted car theft right in his own driveway in Etobicoke. 4 suspects, including a 16-year-old, were charged in the planning of the stealing of his vehicle. Also, a heads up, at 5:30 this evening on Live at 5, I'll be speaking with the former OPP Commissioner Chris Lewis about this exact story.
It's likely going to be another chaotic day for Air Canada passengers as the dispute continues.
The airline says it wants to get planes back in the air tonight, but the union says flight attendants will remain on the picket line until they get a fair deal. CP24's Courtney Hills joins us live from Pearson Airport. She's inside right now, but Courtney, earlier you were standing outside and, hey, we saw the picket lines up. It's quite busy.
Yeah, and that's actually what passengers are walking through this morning, guys. There are dozens, if not well over 100 people out on the picket lines, flight attendants who say they're not going anywhere. But inside the terminal, it's very quiet. It's almost unusual, right? This is not something we typically see this early in the morning. This is the Air Canada wing in Terminal 1. Air Canada says flights will be back in the air later tonight, but there is still this question, if the strike continues, can that happen? I want to bring in this gentleman. Sir, I just asked you quickly if you're affected by the strike. You said yes. How were you affected?
So actually, I came from Mashhad to Istanbul and then to Toronto. My flight was last night at 11. I arrived here at 8, and they have not canceled the flight in advance, to let me know I could reschedule my flight. And when I arrived here at 8, they said, okay, it was canceled. And I was here till midnight for 4 hours. After 24 hours that I was on my way back home. And then they said, okay, we can't do anything for you. And it might take for 19 days till we...
19?
Yeah. And then they said, okay, what should I do? I have nowhere to go. At the end of the night, they booked a hotel room for one night for me, and they said, okay, come back here. Then after that, I received an email from Air Canada that your flight was rescheduled for Friday, for another week. Wow. So, and they said, okay, come back here every day to see what we can do. And now I did. They said, we can't do anything for you. And so I have to stay in the airport, I think, for a week till they find the solution.
Yeah, you're kind of caught in the middle of all of this, right? You have no idea what you're going to do for a week.
I understand that, they fight for their rights, but I should not pay the cost of that. And they could, I think, handle it. I think they made this chaos to put pressure on decision makers. But I'm paying the cost of that. And
where are you trying to go?
I'm trying to go to Calgary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. To wait a week. I mean, at this point, you might look at other options, right?
I might lose my job for that, So I don't know what should I do now.
Okay. Thank you so much. Certainly appreciate you talking to us. Good luck. Okay. I know you're not alone in this. I mean, guys, there are so many people going through this. Before we leave, why don't we just walk outside and show you what we mentioned? This is the scene as people arrive at Terminal 1. There are well over 100 flight attendants outside. They say they're not going anywhere despite this order from the Canada Industrial Relations Board to return to work. Air Canada says planes will be back in the air today, but at this point it doesn't look like this strike line is going anywhere. Back to you.
Oh, wow. Those stories. Well, that one guy, but that's many people's stories. And yeah, you can see the flight attendants digging in their heels, and you can hear the perspective from passengers as well. Courtney Heels, live at Pearson this morning. Thank you, Courtney.
Peel Police calling for the end to unsanctioned large gatherings at local plazas, including the Trinity Commons Mall in Brampton. That's where an arrest was made last Friday.
I'm here at Trinity Common Mall, an area we know is becoming an increasing concern for residents and business owners due to the large gatherings, dangerous driving, drinking in public, and of course, excessive noise. We've been very present here over the last while. We've laid hundreds of charges, made several of arrests, and impounded numerous vehicles. But some people are still not getting the message. Please understand, these plazas are built for customers and customers only. The parking lots are for you and your loved ones to have a safe place to park your vehicle while you're here enjoying shopping, eating, or using the amenities. This is not a space for parties, car meets, fireworks, racing, drinking and driving, or any behavior that creates a hazard or disruption to the residents, the business owners, and of course, access to emergency services.
And officers responded to the plaza around 10 p.m. last Friday for reports of a large gathering. Upon arrival, they found a white Dodge Challenger driving dangerously and attempted to stop the vehicle. The driver tried to evade officers and then attempted to flee on foot. The suspect was taken into custody after a brief pursuit. 21-year-old AJ Preet Sidhu has been charged with multiple offenses, including flight from a peace officer and racing a motor vehicle.
One person is dead, another in hospital after a shooting last night in Brampton.
Peel paramedics were called to a home on Bayhampton Drive near Humber West Parkway and Castlemore Road around 8:45 last night. One person was pronounced dead at the scene, while a second one was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The homicide unit has taken over this investigation, and Peel police say this appears to be an isolated incident. You can keep it here on CP24 for the latest on this. Canada Post and the union representing postal workers, they're set to return to the bargaining table today.
And this is kind of connected to the Air Canada strike situation because the plans to rekindle talks late last week were delayed due to a lack of federal government mediators. The union claimed labor unrest at Air Canada was pulling the attention away from the Postal Service's dispute, which, of course, as we've been telling you, has stretched on now for more than a year and a half. Postal workers recently rejected the Crown Corporation's latest offer that would have included wage hikes of about 13% over 4 years, but also added more part-timers to the workforce.
A man is dead after he was struck by a tractor trailer in North York on Wednesday afternoon.
This happened at a business on Jethro Road. It's near Highway 400 and Wilson Avenue. It's being treated as an industrial accident. Police say the man was pronounced dead at the scene, and the Ministry of Labour has been notified. They will be investigating.
A man has died. I just confirmed with Toronto police sources that the victim is in fact an adult. He is over the age of 18. There is still a police presence here at Scarborough Town Centre. This man found inside the washroom just off of the food court inside Scarborough Town Centre, just beyond here, entrance 7. We're showing you a couple of police cruisers here at the scene. Still a very active police presence, of course. This all happened just before 2 o'clock. It was 1:50, Jamie, that this man was discovered inside the bathroom. He was suffering very clearly from gunshot wounds, and he was pronounced dead here at the scene. Something that I've learned from my police sources, Jamie, and perhaps the reason to explain why there's kind of almost an air of nonchalantness here at the mall, in the sense of not an air of urgency as we typically see when there's an active shooter in a very public setting like a shopping mall. I'm hearing from my sources, Jamie, there was never a call made to 911 for sounds of gunshots. So it's not like people heard gunshots and scattered, running for their lives inside the mall. The call actually made to police and to 911 was that someone had been found inside the bathroom on the food court level, suffering from gunshot wounds. At that point, police arrived, first responders arrived, and this victim was pronounced dead here at the scene. The mall was never locked down, and I can tell you as well, that's incredibly different from what I've experienced covering other mall shootings. For example, I covered the Sherway Gardens shooting several years ago. And at that scene, we saw the emergency task force arriving, those officers going store to store, stall to stall, change room to change room, evacuating the mall and getting people out of concern there was still an armed person inside the mall. So in this case, police say that this person was discovered just before 2 o'clock. There was never a call for sounds of gunshots, so we don't exactly know when the shooting happened. Police telling CP24, though, they do believe that the shooting happened, the incident happened inside the mall. And certainly there's a lot of video cameras all around this mall, inside and outside. So kind of the non-urgency suggests that there's perhaps police believing that the person responsible for this shooting had already left the mall by the time they responded here to Scarborough Town Centre. So just by police reaction, it doesn't seem, Jamie, like there's any concern for a threat of public safety. If that was the case, they would certainly shut down the mall and you wouldn't see people coming and going, families and children, from the mall like we're seeing this afternoon. Again, one person pronounced dead, a man over the age of 18. That's all the information I have about the victim. No information on suspects at this point yet. I am hearing there is a good chance we'll be hearing from Toronto Police. Not a big surprise. Public setting, a mall. We're just waiting to hear when that might happen. I've been told the homicide squad has been notified, but they've not yet taken carriage of this investigation. Of course, as we learn more, we're bringing it to you live here on CP24. Jamie.
Thank you for those updates, Beatrice.
Let's talk about police looking to find the family of an elderly woman that was found this morning in the Winchwood neighborhood. We have a photo of Maria. She's 88 years old, at least according to police, speaking Portuguese as well. Now, police say that they have been unable to get any information that could help them locate Maria's family. She was found around 4 a.m. this morning near Davenport and Christie. Take a look, and it does seem like she had a few injuries potentially while she was away. But people at home, if anyone recognizes this woman, her name is Maria, please contact Toronto Police.
Well, just a second ago, Phil, I will never encourage people to do anything, but you were just chanting the name of Wesley Lasowski, correct? Just to make sure. I wanted only mentioning this because it just stopped a second ago. Wesley Lasowski is the president of the AC component of CUPE, and perhaps would know a lot more than just about anyone here about the challenges at the bargaining table. Wesley, your national president, Mark Hancock, ripped up the return to work order. It seems right now that things are still grounded. So what do you have to say right now?
I'll just confirm that things are still grounded until we get a contract, get back to the table, and come forward with something that our members get to ratify.
So what could that be if binding arbitration is being essentially imposed here? How do you get to Z if it seems from A, B, C there's been challenges, or, well, in this case it seems like it's more than a roadblock to getting a contract at the bargaining table?
Air Canada needs to see that all these people are standing behind their union. Air Canada needs to understand that we need a collective agreement. We have been waiting. We're 8 months in. They need to start taking us seriously, and we're available today. They texted me earlier at about 9:25 to ask, are you putting a statement out on the back to work order? I sent them back a video of it being ripped up. It's time for them to come to the collective agreement and deal with us here at the table with these people who are behind us. We're done.
Just one thing, though, just because you're done, there's still a question of what the ramifications of refusing to work could be. This is maybe a question for everybody here. Are you willing to accept the ramifications for the
union speaks for us. Thank you. Yeah.
No, I'm just.
Our union speaks for us.
So you're ready and willing to accept what comes from this?
Absolutely, and QP National has stepped up to the plate and fully support us here. So we feel fully supported on all angles, all avenues. The National has been very clear. Nobody's willing to accept this. Our members have been very clear in telling us they're not willing to accept it. So we have to guide ourselves accordingly and move forward.
And the last thing I wanted to ask right now is thinking about how this process has played out. It was 10 years since the last contract, 50 some odd days bargaining thus far. Did you expect to get here?
I honestly thought that Air Canada truly believed in the brand like they want us to believe in. I thought that they would be able to turn around and say, you know what, we respect these people. We're going to start building up employee morale, and they're no longer employee numbers, but they are Jane Doe and Mr. Smith. That didn't happen. It was encouraged multiple times by myself and at the table. Let's work on the brand. Let's work on image. I want to go back as a flight attendant. I want to be treated as Wesley, not 021932. So no, I truly believed that we were going to come to something, I think right up until the last minute, but they unfortunately failed. They didn't come forward with something that these people would be able to accept based on the financial hardships they're currently in. So I'm torn inside about this, extremely disappointed in the company, but no, I didn't think we'd be here. I truly, if you ask, I didn't think we'd be here.
Leslie, thank you very much for your time. Do you have a message for Air Canada as we wrap up?
Give me a text. I'm available.
Thank you very much for your time, Wesley. As this demonstration out front of Pearson International, the picketing will continue. This more head-on demonstration that included the blocking of the valet side of the departures level. It appears that that part is over, but what is not over right now, as they say, unpaid work has got to go. It seems that this refusal to work is not over, Phil, and it will not be over, it seems, in time for planes to get into the sky at 2 p.m., as Air Canada had said it wanted to have happen today. Back to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Andrew Brennan. Again, if you have a flight planned, definitely want to check that out before you leave. Thank you.